stop listening to other people, first of all, because there are a lot of people in this world who will, they're also scared of your success, so they'll try and bring you down. So you can do anything you put your mind to. And you know what? If you get up and you make a fool of yourself, well, people will love you all the more.
Hey everybody, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam, and today I am very blessed and privileged to be introducing you to a beautiful lady who I love chatting to about her journey in the direct selling industry. Today I'm going to be introducing you to the gorgeous Noeleen Shine, who is a senior district leader with Lorraine Lea. She's been with Lorraine Lea for 11 years now, and she shares that journey with us. She's really open, honest, and candid about that experience, but she also shares some of the challenges that she's experienced along the way that I think so many of us can relate to, including her journey into technology, how she's found that over the years, and on top of that, Noeleen has done something amazing. She has restarted her business and got herself to a senior leader level twice, not once, but twice. And she shares how that all panned out for her. I know you're going to love this episode. Have your pen and paper ready, because she also shares loads of golden nuggets along the way, as usual. But today, I think some of these could be really game-changing for you if you just stop and take notes. So jump on in, listen. I know you're going to love this episode. I feel very privileged to have been able to meet and chat with Noeleen, and I know that you're going to love listening to her. So tune on in and enjoy. Hey everybody, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam, and I am so blessed and privileged to be joined today by the amazing Noeleen Shine. Welcome on in, Noeleen.
Hi Sam, how are you?
I'm awesome, and I'm really excited about our chat today, but I'm going to start by telling our audience just a little bit about you. And I know that you and I have had a few fun chats, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation today. But Noeleen, you are a senior district leader. How's that for tongue twisting? We're already fluffing around. Look at us go.
Okay. So long as it's you and not me.
Yeah. Noeleen is a senior district leader for Lorraine Lea. But Noeleen, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what that means for you, and we're going to jump on in after that, because I'm really excited to dive in deep here today.
Sure. So you got it right. I am a senior district leader, and what that means is I run a group of our teams here in Sydney. We've got 3 beautiful teams here in New South Wales, and we have girls in Perth and all over the country. So along with my 2 fellow leaders, Natalie and Annette, we run the teams here for Lorraine Lea. So that's basically it in a nutshell. And running the teams in, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's kind of working together with a group of ladies who want to sell our beautiful products, basically. Mm-hmm. So that's it, really, in a nutshell.
Love it. Awesome. And now you've got 3 beautiful kids, is that right?
I do have 3 kids, yeah.
And your wonderful husband, who I really need to call it out, because he's in the background there right now, which I think is just like, hey, I love it.
Welcome to lockdown. Yes.
COVID work. I love it. So good. So tell us a little bit about who you are behind the scenes.
Okay, so I am a mum of 3 beautiful children. They all live in Queensland right now. They live in Brisbane. So a little bit about how I ended up in Sydney. My husband got a job offer that he couldn't refuse. It happens to be working from home right now, which is it's fine. But we moved here almost 5 years ago. It's almost 5 years ago. I can't believe that it's flown in so quickly. So my youngest daughter came with us initially, and she was 16, didn't have a choice. She had to come. And she moved back to Queensland in February. So her and her brother live in our family home. We still have it there. And there's 6 20-plus-year-olds living in our house right now.
Right now, where you are?
No, in our house in Queensland.
Oh, right. No, so that's why you're where you are. I love it.
So my husband got a job down here, and I obviously was able to take my Lorraine Lea business with me. So that worked out really well.
Fantastic. And you're originally from Dublin?
Dublin in Ireland, yes. So if I talk fast, you'll just have to tell me to
I love it. I've got to say, because I know that you were a bit nervous on coming in here today and chatting, and I just want to say I was really excited because I love your accent. I think I could listen to it all day. So I was really excited to to just, have an excuse to listen to you for half an hour to an hour chatter away. This is great.
Well, anything I do, I say it'll be faster because I talk quickly. So,
do you know? I know this is totally off topic, but I'm just going to ask. You guys have got I noticed there are some really strangely spelt names that you guys have got over there that I wouldn't even know where to start with pronouncing them. And I don't even know where I'm going with this question, but I just have to ask, like, what's with the crazy spelled names that no one can pronounce?
I guess it's going back to our heritage, which is speaking Gaelic, I suppose. So if you break it down this way, so Siobhan is one name that you probably would have a problem with because it's Siobhan.
Yeah, and that's one of the easier ones.
Yeah, so you'd say Chiabon or something like that. Dervla is another one. So that's a huge long spelling that Australians often get wrong. So Dervla is another one with a BH in it. So just kind of think of it that way.
Okay, because of course a B and a H together would make V.
And Niamh, Niamh.
Yes, I've seen that one recently, and I was like, "There's no way I would have guessed that."
Well, that sounds like a V as well, so it's a bit weird, really.
All right, we should talk about direct selling.
Yeah, we should cut all that out.
That's great. We've cleared that up. We've cleared up that is strange. It's not just me that's going crazy here. Okay, so tell us a little bit about how long you've had your Lorraine Lea business for. Can you tell us a bit about how that all came about and where that started for you?
Yeah. So look, 11 years ago, a friend of mine was asking me to join her team in Queensland in Lorraine Lea. And I didn't really want to do it. There was several reasons. And one of them was I didn't speak Australian. And that was my big thing because I felt...
Hang on, pause. What do you mean by speaking Australian?
Because everybody had a problem. When I came here 17 years ago, I did speak a lot quicker.
Okay.
So back then, I was worried people wouldn't understand me. So I didn't want to do it for that reason. And then all of a sudden, my son wanted to go to a basketball trip in the USA. And we needed $6,000 pretty quickly for him to go. And of course, I wanted him to go and I wanted to get that money. And I said to my husband, okay, I'm going to join Lorraine Lea now. And I'm going to make that $6,000 and then I'm gone. I'm not doing it anymore. Okay. And I got the usual eye roll that you're going to make $6,000. Yeah, that would be great. And all of a sudden, within 90 days, I had that $6,000.
Wow.
So I was like you. I was going, wow, that was good, And the beauty of that was to be able to tell my son that he could go, and he was so happy. So then I suddenly thought, I could keep doing this and make some extra cash for the kids, for the trips, and for all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then move on a couple of years, and I was in a job that I really didn't like. I was working part-time in finance, and I won't go into the details, but there wasn't a great environment where I was working. And so I decided I would do this full-time. So I came home to my husband and said, that's it, I'm quitting my job, I'm going to do Lorraine Lea full-time. And basically that's how it started, with the kind of leadership role and the, increasing my business, because we have a saying in Lorraine Lea, you can do this part-time, full-time, or big time.
Yep.
So I was doing it part-time, I went to a little bit of full-time, and now I'm doing it big time. So that's kind of how it happened. And, I had some people in Lorraine Lea who believed in me and believed I would be a good leader, because sometimes that belief isn't in yourself. And that's a huge learning curve for me. So having said that, went along and became a leader in Queensland, had a lovely team of girls there, great environment. And then all of a sudden we had to come to Sydney for my job. So we're talking 5 years ago, when it wasn't online. We didn't have Zoom, we didn't have any of that technology really at our fingertips. So I decided to start from scratch again in Sydney. So start as an itty bitty stylist again. And I gave my team to my beautiful upline to look after, and came to Sydney and started from scratch. And I didn't know one person in Sydney, not one single person. So that was a real, shock to me, because I had a huge environment up in Brisbane that worked for me. So I basically, somebody in Queensland knew someone in Sydney, and they offered to do a party for me, one person. Yep. So I decided that party was going to be the best party I ever did in my entire life. And I went there with the sole intention of booking.
Yep.
So it literally, bookings came, and all of a sudden I was back up to leadership within about 6 months.
Wow. Okay. So you, let me get this straight. You've not just got yourself to a leadership position once, you've done it twice from scratch. Okay. Yeah. Continue. This is great.
So I was shocked at myself, to be honest, because I felt, I think in a way in Sydney it was a bit of sink or swim. I did not want to go to a 9-to-5 job. I just couldn't. The thoughts of that was killing me. Like, I just couldn't go back to that. I worked in finance, and figures and numbers, they're not fun. I mean, party plan is fun, and I was having a lot of fun with my parties and a lot of fun meeting people, and it gave me a social life here in Sydney as well.
Yep.
And I was really lucky in the team I came into in Sydney as well. And lots of these girls are now on my team because the previous leader retired, and I have these girls on my team now. So it's fantastic. But I felt really at home in Sydney, which is really weird because most people leave Sydney to go to Queensland.
Yep.
And I felt really comfortable here.
Yep.
And so it kind of I just kept going because I didn't want to go back to 9-to-5 work, and I didn't want to go back to accounts, or finance. I just didn't want to do it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. So this is actually really, I didn't know this about you prior to coming into this conversation, that you've actually done this not once, but twice. And I think that's, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but that's an amazing feat. But what I think is really awesome is you've got a formula that works, and it wouldn't just work for you. I know that this formula is one that you have spoken to others about. You've shown others how to do. What would you attribute your success in growing yourself to becoming a leader to? What are the, I guess, the key factors for you that got you from starting from scratch to where you are now that anybody would be able to replicate?
Yeah, look, I think I don't think about it too much, to be honest, Sam, about what I do, insofar as it just comes naturally to me, and I guess in natural, in my psyche, I want to help people get what I got. So by doing Lorraine Lea, I got to stay at home with the kids and be a stay-at-home mom. And I got the trips overseas, and I got the company car, and I've done all of that. So I just want other people to have that. And I think when I'm asking someone, would they be interested in joining our teams here? What could this job do for you? Now, I'm not necessarily building my team, but I'm inviting people in to have what I had. So I think that's the formula, is to be yourself.
Yep.
And have that top of mind, all of the time.
And that's really perfect. I think that probably is the key here. The fact that you've gone in and said, I'm going to be me. And I know that you struggle. We've spoken a little bit about the whole imposter syndrome, and I love that that you come in, you're so real about it all. Can you tell us a little bit about that struggle and that challenge that you've experienced? And I ask this because I know that there are so many of our listeners that feel that very same way. I think it's really good sometimes to speak it out and say, hey, you know what? Like, there are people that are leaders in this industry that struggle with the same thing.
Yeah. And I guess I was saying to you earlier that, I'm on the wrong side of 50 here. So I do feel sometimes a little bit of an imposter, that I've had all this success, and I don't necessarily, analyze it, so to speak. But when I started out, I certainly didn't feel I should be here. I felt, how did this happen? You know what I mean? And really, when I look back on it, how it happened was I just kept doing what I was doing, and doing it again the next day, and doing it again the next day. So I just didn't ever give up. So basically, I stayed focused on what I wanted for my life and my family and my kids. And I just didn't give up. And I don't know how else to explain it, really. I think sometimes you're afraid to succeed rather than afraid to fail, because I don't love being in the center of attention. I don't love being on the stage. Mm-hmm. But some of the highlights of my Lorraine Lea career have been when I've stepped outside of that zone and done it. I spoke at a conference a few years ago, and literally shaking going up to do it. But when I did it, I felt so good. And I thought, you know what, maybe I do deserve to be here,
Yeah, absolutely.
And people came up to me afterwards and said, oh my God, I loved your story. It was so like me, or it was so attainable, I think, because I am normal. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I think that's really, really powerful. And I think there's so many people out there right now that are feeling that same way. It's almost, I love what you said about you're more afraid to succeed than you are to fail, because failing for so many of us is just like, oh, well, done that before, but succeeding's a new thing. And it's pretty amazing to see that you've done this twice and you still say that, because it's like, hang on a second, you're sitting right here, you've done it twice. It wasn't accidental.
Yeah, and I guess I have huge support with Lorraine Lea. I mean, Lorraine Lea are a fantastic company to work for, and they're all the time building us up. They build us up to do what what they feel we could do, but we don't realize it yet, I suppose. Is that the word? Is that the right way of explaining it? I mean, even when Anne said to me, "Oh, would you do a podcast with Sam?" because she knew I was doing your course.
Yeah.
And I went, me? Surely they could ask blah, blah, or, and she said, no, I'm asking you to do it. Back yourself. And I think that's a lot of what people don't do. They don't back themselves. They're scared of taking that risk.
Yeah. So what piece of advice would you offer to someone who is in that position right now? They're feeling a little bit afraid to back themselves, maybe a bit afraid to take that risk, maybe even afraid to get up on stage and share their story with others.
Yeah.
What advice would you offer them?
I'd probably say to them, stop listening to other people, first of all, because there are a lot of people in this world who will, they're also scared of your success. So they'll try and bring you down. They'll try and, oh, you couldn't do that. Nobody will understand you. Or, I've had that said to me. I've been introduced in the past, and they've said, oh, this is Noeleen, but you probably won't understand a word she says.
Oh.
And of course I'm going, oh my God, now I'm definitely feeling the love.
Yeah.
But I guess what you have to do is stop listening to those people, put your hand up and say, I'm not listening to you.
Yeah.
And then stop listening to yourself, because that inner voice can trigger something in your mind that makes you feel you can't do something. So you can do anything you put your mind to. And you know what? If you get up and you make a fool of yourself, well, people will love you all the more,
Yeah.
But don't worry about it. Just do it, because the feeling after you do it it's just so euphoric, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. And it's really powerful as well. You've got to offer to others. And I think you've said that before. When you got off stage, others said that they resonated with your story. And that's something really important to remember. I know I've had to remind myself of this many times over the years, that it's not always the obvious thing. It's not what you can see and you can feel and you can hear that is why you're doing it. It's those people that needed to hear your message that maybe you never ever get to have a conversation with, but for whatever reason they've taken something that you've said and it's done something for them. Or perhaps, you set someone up in a business and you never really know what that really meant for them, but, you might have changed their lives. And, so it's almost like the conversations you never have, which are the reasons why you should be doing it.
Yeah. And look, the joy in this business is that when somebody does say to you, oh my goodness, I would never have bought blah, blah, and it could be something really small and simple, but when they say that to you, I'm so glad you offered me this opportunity. I mean, I thank the girl who brought me into this business is still one of my closest friends, and she's not in Lorraine Lea anymore. But I thank her every time I see her. I say, oh, thank God you got me into this business, because it's changed my life, Yeah. And she knows that, and we're best friends, and it's great. And I've made so many friends in this business. So it's not always about the money either.
Yeah, absolutely.
It helps.
It helps. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, because I know that you said, look, Facebook, you weren't really doing it before and you don't feel like you're doing a great job of it now. Can you tell me a little bit about what you feel you struggle with, but also what you do really well on Facebook now? I'd like to do the whole, positive, negative, but also let's celebrate successes here for a moment, because I know you've been working really hard on it.
Yeah, well, I guess what I wasn't, okay, so let's go back a little bit. I guess last year we were running on it by the seat of our pants, basically. So we were just selling, we were selling, we were booking, we were recruiting. We didn't have time to think about how we were doing it. So when I look back on my parties from last year, I think, oh my God, it's just like word vomit. It was just spam, it was just products. And I thought, oh my goodness, this has to be fixed, because I was finding that my algorithms weren't great. And we did all about the Facebook train, and I did do some research, and I did have some advice last year. And one of the pieces of advice I got was, to be successful on Facebook, you need to be doing at least 5 to 15 stories a day on Facebook. And that wasn't from you, let me tell you.
No, it wasn't.
And I literally did this and I said, oh my gosh, I live in Sydney in a 2-bedroom apartment with my husband and my dog. I don't think 15 things happen in a day here for me.
Not that everyone's going to want to watch.
Well, 100%.
Here's my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, and there's 3 down.
My dog certainly gets fed up with being plonked on products, to be taken a photo of. So, my
dog in a sheet set and a dog on a pillow and a dog on a towel and I love it.
I thought, I cannot do this. And that was another point where I thought, I'm out of here. I can't do this. I don't want to be, I love watching all of that happen, but that's not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was really searching for some way of being myself on Facebook and promoting my business. And I guess what I was doing wrong last year was completely spamming people with products and we've got a sale or we've got this or we've got that. And then all of a sudden, I think around January, I decided I would look for help, proper help, as in invest money and time in myself and get some help. And I don't know how I came across you guys, but once I listened to your podcast, the very first webinar, I thought, that's it, I'm in, because I think you said something in that about unless you have something interesting to say on Facebook, don't say it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was your exact words, but does that resonate with you? Do you remember something like that?
I do, yep.
And you weren't advocating that you live your whole life. I mean, you give the tips, but you're not saying you have to do this to do this. You're giving the advice, but you're not making us be something we're not.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. You want us to be real.
Yeah.
And that's what I completely took from your group, your marketing and Oksana itself. And so listen to all your podcasts, and I really resonated with a lot of your podcasts and I really enjoyed them. So I thought to myself, well, this is something I can do, because with those 14 days of posts, and you're leading the way but not telling us what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what's changed for me. So that's the good thing, that's the positive. And I can almost, even though I'm at the tip of the iceberg with that, I haven't implemented everything I've learned from you. And I am learning all the time, but I just haven't implemented everything. Yeah. I can see a huge shift in my Facebook, algorithms and my following and my, not reach, what's the word?
Your engagements
and connecting with people.
Love it.
I'm a lot more fun. I used to be fun. When I used to do in-home parties, I was fun. Yeah. When I started with the online parties, I wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
So now I'm going back to being fun again.
I love that. That's music to my ears, because I know that one thing that can be really challenging, you've sort of hit the nail on the head with this. With Facebook, we find that people get caught up in what they have to do and, what other people are doing and what they're being told to do, and they lose sight of who they are. Yeah. And in doing that, what happens is it becomes completely transparent that they're not being themselves. So not only are they now resentful and hating Facebook and it's not working, but people are seeing their stuff and not connecting with it because it's not genuine, it's not them. So I really love that you've said that, because one of the really great things about when you are yourself on Facebook and, in your case, Noeleen, you sort of bring a bit of that fun you back, it becomes more enjoyable for you, but people also connect with that more because they feel like, okay, I'm like, this is this person being themselves. I'd like to hear more from this person. I'd like to connect more with that person. So that's really great. I'm really glad to hear that. And I think that's really good for others to hear as well. If you feel like Facebook's a bit of a burden, it actually doesn't have to be that hard. Yeah. So sometimes we overcomplicate it. I think that's probably one of the greatest challenges I see out there is people overcomplicating their social media. Yeah.
And look, as I said, I have a long way to go yet, but I just feel I have that excitement again about Facebook, whereas I'd lost it. As I said, it was just, I looked back at my parties and I thought, oh my Lord, they were terrible. But I mean, they were okay at the time because everybody was, as I said, just trying everything.
Yeah.
But now we can break it down a little bit better.
That's right. I think there was a lot of patience last year as well for people going online, a lot of understanding that, people are not used to this, but we're going to be patient with it anyway. Yeah. And, I think we're our own greatest critics. Would you agree with that? I think we I can hear you picking on your own performance, but I guarantee no one watching those parties was thinking that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Noeleen. Just Noeleen. Noeleen's
just me. Yeah.
So I want to come back to for you with your business. Can you tell us a little bit about, because look, people listening, I think there's a bit of a presumption from a lot of people out there that, leaders just get there. They just get there. They don't have challenges. They just, they wing it, or they're lucky. Now, Noeleen's done it twice. We've heard this already, but I also know that for no leader has it ever just come easy and handed on a platter. So can you tell me what has not worked for you and what's working for you now? Where's your priority in your business right now for growth? But I'd like to first ask the first part of the question. What's not worked for you? What's been some of the, the things that you've done or tried that have just, failed miserably, and you've gone, let's move on and try something else?
So do you mean as a leader or as a stylist, or both?
I don't mind. Either way, I think it's good for people to hear that we all have these little peaks and troughs and highs and lows, and I'd like to hear about one of yours.
Well, look, I guess the lows would be when you yourself it's finding balance. I think as a leader, you have to find balance between your personal business and your leadership role, I suppose.
Yeah.
So for me in the past, I've focused too much maybe on the team, and my personal business has gone down, or I've done the reverse. I've focused too much on my personal business and the team has kind of gone to pot. So it's finding, I think what's gone wrong in the past is not having that balance in my life and in the business. And what works is then if you do set yourself tasks that are evenly spaced out, I guess, between the two. So, having a plan, having some sort of a plan set out, so you can run your business on an even keel, I suppose. And look, we all have times where parties don't go to plan, or they don't, result in 2 bookings or in a recruit or whatever. And when you don't get the 2 bookings, I guess the real go-getters in our business will always replace that party elsewhere. So they may not get a booking at an event, but they go and find a booking somewhere else to replenish, and then get a second booking to grow. So I think what's gone wrong in the past is I've let that slide, and then all of a sudden you're scrabbling back up to the top. With the leadership, I guess we're very lucky with Lorraine Lea and our leadership programs and what we've got going for us. There's a huge number of us who support each other. So I don't really feel I could comment too much on the bad side of that, because there really isn't at the moment. I don't really, I try and put the bad things out of my head.
It's good.
But so I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I think it
does. And it actually opens up another question that I want to ask you, actually. I know that you've been really, you've talked a lot about parties and getting bookings. And when you first got to Sydney, it was one of the first things you did was just get yourself that first party. Have you got any hot tips on how to get those bookings, when you're in that party scenario, for people that maybe are struggling with that?
Oh, I thought you meant creative bookings. I thought you meant not.
Well, you can tell us both, but I was specifically thinking you get your one booking and you're at your party. How are you going to get more bookings? What's a hot tip you can give people?
Well, the biggest hot tip I can give is, say to somebody when they come to order with you, look, Sam, before I take your order, I can't really let you pay full price for what you're getting. So let me quickly show you how much you would save by having your own event. Whatever you want to call it. And I have a little example of that. I did a party a few years ago in Queensland, and these 2 guys, they were partners, and they came to the table, and one of them said, we're not having a party, just don't even ask me, not having a party. Put his hand up like that. And his partner said, oh, we might. And I said, no, don't worry about it. I said, just what's on your wish list? And they had a wish list as long as their arm. And I basically went through the wish list. And I said, oh, that's great. Okay, Chris, I can take $680 right now. And I worked out how much they would save. I said, I can take $600 right now from you, or $680, I think it was. Or we can have a party and you can get that entire wish list for $240. And he jumped up. He said, we're having a party. Who's coming?
Oh.
So it's basically people don't know what they can save unless you tell them. So you have to explain to them what's in it for them. That would be the crux of how you get bookings.
It's about them, not about you.
Oh, absolutely. I want the 2 bookings, but I want I want 2 hosts that are wanting to have a party and wanting to have a good party.
Yeah, and that's so true. If, as soon as people smell that sell, if they can see the desperation that you want it, and I know because I've done this many times before coming from such a strong sales background, it's those moments where the desperation is there that you've lost it before you even started. But I love what you've said, just making it about them and what their needs are and meeting that. So let's just have a little bit of a look now. Let's come back to the other part of that question, you need a booking, haven't got a booking, maybe you didn't get your 2 bookings at your party. What would be your piece of advice to get something outside of a party scenario?
Yeah. And I guess when I came to Sydney first, I really had to do that because I didn't know anybody. And I didn't want to be that person, like, I used to have this vision in my mind. I didn't want people crossing the road when they saw me coming because I didn't want to be asking them for parties all the time. So I had to be a bit creative with it. And I made a list. I remember making a list. And the first thing I did was I told my husband that, well, you've brought me to Sydney and you owe me to help me to build my business. So get your partner involved. And he actually emailed all of his colleagues in his company when he was at work, and he said, "Happy wife, happy life. My wife has restarted her linen business here in Sydney, and if any of you have a need for anything, blah blah blah, let me know because I want to keep her happy," kind of thing. And it was a bit of a fun email, and I got contacts through that. But the other thing is to always kind of have. Sometimes we're really shy about saying what we do when we're in Party Plan. If you have 2 jobs. I might be an accountant and I might be doing Party Plan, or I might be doing direct sales, they call it now, showing my age. And so if somebody used to say to you, "What do?" you'd immediately say, "I'm an accountant."
Yeah.
But be proud of what you're doing because this is the job that you can have it all with, if you understand.
Yeah. So good. I love
and
that.
what you put into this business, you get out. And, even talking to you, I get goosebumps thinking about what this business has given me. And so I guess I went around, I always made sure I had a catalogue or something. But if I was at the bank, I'd pull out the catalogue and I'd say to the girl, "Oh, do you have a staff room or somewhere you could maybe pop this? I'm new to the area.
Awesome.
I'm new to the area. Would you mind popping that in?" But it's all very well chucking catalogues at people, but you need to have a follow-up plan and go back. So I guess that's where I if I got my hair done in a small hairdressing salon, I'm supporting their small business. So I expect that they wouldn't be too upset if I asked them to support mine.
Yeah.
I had that front of mind. If I got my nails done, I wouldn't go to different nail salons, it'd be a regular customer. And I would say to them, do you know what I do, kind of thing. And we'd have a chat about it. I'd bring it up in conversation. So maybe having it front of mind, and there's people everywhere. And if you offer what you've got, some people will take you and some people won't. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's so true. It's, you're supporting their business. Absolutely. There should be an expectation that they might not buy from you, but they're going to give you the time of day to hear what you've got to say. And
100%.
I think that's really powerful.
And then they might have a friend who needs a pillow or something,
Yeah. And it's not always about in the moment either, is it, Noeleen? Because sometimes it's about you've now seeded something. When that person in a month's time is thinking, "Oh, you know what? I've just redesigned my bedroom," or they're talking to someone that says, "I need some new linen," or, whatever it might be, the first thing they're going to think of is, "There was someone I spoke to recently. Now, who was that?" And you're going to come to mind. They're going to connect the two of you. But if you've never said it and you've never let them know, they're never going to have the ability to do that. So that's really powerful.
Absolutely.
Now, Noeleen, one of the things that we do spend a lot of time working on within our courses is identifying who your ideal customer is. Now, you have done a lot of work, obviously, building your team and reestablishing your business over time. Do you have an ideal customer, and can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I do really. I mean, it's kind of because of online. I would say my age dynamic has changed a little bit. So it's kind of between 26 and 65, I would think, in age group. And 90% will be women.
Yep.
Interesting. So yeah, I have identified who buys our products, I guess, and who is our ideal customer and who's my ideal customer. So that would be the broad basis of who's my ideal customer. And obviously people who like home decor, and having nice rooms. I would hate to tell you, with my husband in the room, how many doona covers I actually have in a 2-bedroom apartment. But it's close to double digits. But you have to identify people who love that kind of product and who love your lifestyle, or who admire something that you have, and they say, "Oh my gosh, I love that doona cover," or whatever. So it's trying to find them. Online it's a little bit harder, and then in some ways it's a little bit easier because you can look at your insights on Facebook.
Yep.
If you want to, but in real life, I would say my ideal customer will be between those age groups.
Yep. And so we've talked a little bit about sort of struggle street for people, where they've they might be a bit stuck right now. Some of those issues that people experience, that imposter syndrome, etc. Being that you've been through so many of these challenges, what would be one piece of advice you might give to somebody who was either brand new to the business or thinking of starting a business in this space, or just feeling very stuck right now?
Yeah. Look, I think, activity, you have to be active in your business to get some traction. And we have a fabulous resource on our website, for new people who come in, called the Easy Guide. And in there it says to us, do 5 things a day, thrive for 5. So do 5 things a day in your business to keep it ticking over. So 5 contact calls, or, you choose what you want to do. Now, back in the day when I was procrastinating, I used to say, well, I'm cleaning my office, so that's something, But cleaning your office is really not being active in your business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do 5 things a day in your business. If you made 5 contact calls a day, either by text or messenger or whatever, or phone call, that's 25 people in 5 days.
Yep.
So out of that 25, you are bound to get some response or traction or customer or somebody who needs help. And we used to do happy calls, we used to call them. And I would say, do your happy calls, like call your customers that have bought from you 2 months ago and say, how are you going with those sheets?
Yep. Love it.
Because even if they have a problem, that's good. I would rather they had the problem with me and I could sort it out than have a problem with somebody else and tell their friends, oh no, I wouldn't buy that from that person because they don't follow up, or the product wasn't great, or whatever. You need to know your customer.
Yep. That's an amazing piece of advice.
Yeah, so do your happy call, because and call with no agenda, I find, is the best thing to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, give them a call and say, oh, hi Sam, I know you tried out my Supima sheets, how'd you go with them? And if you say, oh my God, I loved them, or whatever, and I could say to you, well, you know what, in September they're 30% off right now.
Yep.
So let the conversation happen, but don't go in with an agenda. I'm going to book 5 parties today. Go in with an agenda. I'm going to look after 5 of my customers today.
Yep. So good. And that's so powerful as well. People, again, they'll smell the cells. So when you're going in just to check in, they're more likely to open up and interact with you. I love that. So good.
But be genuine about it. I mean, I don't ever ring anyone with the thought I'm only ringing you because I want a booking. I'm actually genuinely interested in how you went.
Yep. Yeah, that's fantastic. Brilliant piece of advice there, Noeleen. I love it. So we've got our final fun questions, because we do need to wrap up. And as always, we've yabbered on for longer than we should have. So can you tell us, what's your favorite book to add to our accelerator list?
Well, it's probably on there already, I reckon. It
might be, but
I'll tell you anyway. It starts with Passion with Keith Abraham.
Ah, good one. Okay, love it.
I'm a big fan of Keith.
Yes.
I've seen him several times, and I've seen him on your course as well.
Yes.
And I love him, and he's a lot about belief and confidence.
Yes. Yep. And
I love his story, his own personal story. He could be my son right now. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
The story he had back then. Yep. And I did buy his other book, Focus, for the kids back in the day. And
yep.
He's a brilliant, I love him. And that's my favorite book in that genre is It Starts with Passion.
Yeah, I love them. They're both amazing books and 2 of my favorites as well. So,
and it really, in the, if I have time, I did highlight and write down when I revisited his book last week, because when you asked me that question, I thought I better check my
do my homework.
I do my homework. So I had a highlighted passage in the book, and it was in the introduction, and it said, rarely is it a person's level of ability that stops them from achieving their goals, dreams, desires, and ambitions. Most often they are held back by their lack of confidence and belief in what is possible for them, what they're capable of achieving, and whether they are worthy of that level of success. And this becomes the prison people build for themselves.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
And I'll show you, the book is somewhere here, but it's all dog-eared and highlighted. So I really did enjoy that book.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you. I love that. So next question is, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Nothing to do with business.
No, doesn't have to be.
No, I know it hasn't. Because right at this moment, if I had a superpower, I'd zap myself to Brisbane to see my kids.
Oh, I love it. Right. So what do we call that? Like time travel? It's not even time travel.
I was trying to think Doctor Who kind of thing.
Yeah. The phone booth. Actually, a funny story about that. I didn't know that there were phone booths anymore. In fact, you kind of walk past them now without thinking about it. You don't even look at them. Anyway, we went to the corner store near home the other day with the kids, and we walked past the phone booth, and my kid said to me, "Oh my gosh, Mum, what is that? What is it for? What does it do?" And I said, "Oh, well, have you seen Doctor Who?" And the kids went, "No." I said, "Well, it used to be that if you got in one of those, that it would take you to anywhere." And the kids were like, "Really?" So what, that was the entertainment for the next half an hour. They were trying to dial the correct number to get it to, so that's bad mummying, isn't it?
Let's give them a bit of fun.
It was entertainment for me. I think it was well worth it. Okay. So what's your favorite quote?
It's a really short one. It's called, the quote is, "Comparison is the thief of joy."
Oh, good. So good. I love that. I'm going to write that one down too. I think that's brilliant.
And you know what that means, obviously.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We talk about that a lot in Facebook world, for sure.
Yeah, and look, it's really true, because your journey is different to somebody else's, and I can't compare myself to somebody else. You have to just have your own way and what you want. And somebody, I especially say to new people in our teams, don't think you have to be selling $40,000 in a month, because we can't do that. But if you're happy to sell 20,000 or 10,000 or 5,000, that's your figure. You don't have to match somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to extend that to Facebook, because the one thing that we spend a huge amount of time telling people is, when you're comparing yourself to other people, you'll fail every time. You'll never be successful at Facebook where you're trying to be, or copy somebody else. And when you compare yourself to someone else, like you just said, it's not your story, it's their story. Yeah. So I love that. Really great. And I think very, very relevant. So thank you for sharing that one. All right. Final question is, if you could go back in time and say one thing to your past self, what would that be?
Well, it's going to be more than a few lines. Sorry.
I thought it might be.
Yeah. Because I think about these things. And I guess if I had to go back in time, I'd say believe in yourself. That would be my little thing. And don't be afraid to succeed, to take risks, and especially stop listening to your inner voice. So that would be my advice.
Yeah. And I call it your inner bully.
Yeah. And I guess actions speak louder than words, for your family and your kids. So when your kids tell you that they're proud of you, that's worth more than any amount of money. Yeah. And they are watching what you do. So just be mindful of that. Yeah. Because I find now my kids are reading these kind of books that I read. Yeah. And they're doing what I never thought they would do. You know what I mean? So your journey has a real impact on your kids. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been really amazing, Noeleen. I've loved chatting with you and hearing a bit more about your story. And I know our listeners will have really enjoyed this as well. So thank you so much for your time. And I think there's so many gold nuggets speckled throughout there. I particularly love the action steps, the doing 5 things a day, or the happy calls, and that hot tip with getting party bookings, I think, is brilliant as well. So thank you so much for taking the time out to share with us today, and having the confidence and self-belief to come in here and be on this podcast. We really appreciate you. Oh, you're more than welcome, Sam. And I've really enjoyed your course. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I really would say to people to invest in themselves. They're not investing in anything else except themselves. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Love it. Great plug there. I'll pay you later. No, that wasn't planned. You didn't ask me. It wasn't planned. It wasn't planned. I should be plugging my own business, shouldn't I? You should. All right. Go ahead. No, they can find me on Facebook. They can. We're going to pop your Facebook down in the show notes. If anyone wants to get some of those amazing Supima sheets, did I say that right? Yeah. You did. Or flannelette even. They can come flannelette. To you. I will sell flannelette. I'm just not going to hand them to you. Yeah. She'll mail them wearing gloves. Yeah. So good. Thank you so much, Noeleen. This has been loads of fun and I really appreciate you. And I really look forward to seeing where you go next and the next stage of your journey. So thank you so much for taking the time out. We'll connect all of our listeners with you. They can reach out, say hi, get some more tips from you, I'm sure, and watch your journey. So thank you again. It's been such a blessing to have you join us. Oh, thanks for having me. Pleasure. See ya. God bless everybody. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.